What is it that stops us women from going for routine breast cancer screenings? Forget women who don't have the awareness or the means. Even highly literate and aware women ignore the tests. Even home tests, guides to which are available all over the internet. What is it that makes us so indifferent to a malignancy that every year attacks 1.5 lakh women, even when the writing is looming on the wall, staring at us in the face? It is our centuries of social conditioning that we give ourselves so little priority in terms of me time, health and leisure. Is it shame? Is it fear of social rejection? Can the men around us help break this social and gender role conditioning and remind us to give our health priority?
I think in general, women do not have the time to focus on themselves. A woman, whether it's a mother, a sister, or a daughter, invariably looks at their family. They put the family in the front of the whole scheme of things. And that's the reason why we promoted a program called HIM, which is basically husband-initiated movement. The idea was to make the husbands push their wives or spouses to go and get an early screening, given, as I said, the high preponderance of this disease and its onset at an early age at a young woman's life. So we've made that awareness through the husbands to push the wives to get the screening done. And that is, if you look at some of the work that we have done, a number of patients have been early diagnosis, have been able to get done and diseases identified, and we've been able to treat them. So that's our whole focus, not look at just the spouse, use the husbands to make this happen. Creating the awareness that this is something that is curable, and whatever loss of face or loss of body in terms of hair and other stuff is happening is temporary, is something that we are trying to create the awareness. If you do an early diagnosis and treatment, they can get back everything that initially the pain that they undergo is short term, and they can get back their full quality of life. And that, I think, awareness we are trying to build, and hopefully with that we will be able to address this problem.
There's also an easy prevention guide to follow and remember. Screen yourself regularly. Women who have a family history of breast cancer must get regular checkups done, particularly after 35, either mammography or ultrasound. Get active, maintain your weight, stay fit. 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity per week. Strength training at least twice a week. Check your diet. Eat home-cooked meals, avoid processed food, eat a diet rich in fiber content and omega-3 fatty acids. Breastfeed. Breastfeed for a longer period of time, preferably till the newborn is at least 2 years old. Breastfeeding lowers estrogen levels. Quit smoking and watch that liquor. Smoking can cause breast cancer, drinking can cause breast cancer. Limit hormone therapy. Consult your doctor about options.
I'm Pia Bajwa. I'm 46 years old. I live life to the fullest. I am a very positive person by nature. I found out about my cancer very early because I did regular breast checks myself. I was aware that, after the age of 30, you should start doing that. And that's how I got to know that there was a lump which I felt. And when I got it checked, it turned out to be cancer. For me, it was just something, that I had to get over with. And I remained positive throughout my treatment. I worked every single day. I went through my surgery. I went to work 3 days after my surgery with all the bandages and everything around me. I I went to parties, I attended dinners, I attended all functions, I also traveled. I drew strength from within me, and seeing the faces of my family, my husband, my son, and my close friends, who felt that if something happens to me, what are they going to do? So that's where I drew my strength.
It was scary. It came bolt out of the blue. I was scared, but she brought us together, and she really was the strength to our whole family, and that just got us through. But yes, it was life-changing.
I remember that when the first clump of hair started coming out, I was in Mumbai, and I called up my husband and I said that my hair are coming out. So he says, what do you plan to do? I said, nothing, let me come back home. I came back and I shaved my head, and I went around like that. Most women think that there's something wrong in case they are detected with cancer. So I personally feel that it is more because they are not aware, and that it's not that they become shunned from the society just because they've got cancer. There's nothing of that sort that happens. That's probably the biggest deterrent.
It's very, very important to create awareness about how to handle this disease. The biggest challenge this disease has is the fear, and in particular the social taboo that it carries. And it's important that the family of the patient is right behind him or her to make this disease manageable and treatable.
In fact, I have much more strength, a lot of energy. There's nothing that has come down. Yes, I did put on a little weight, which kind of sometimes bother me. But other than that, I don't think so there's anything that's stopping me.
Hi, I'm Ananda Shankar Jayant. I'm a dancer, Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi dancer. I spun a life of artistry and achievement and awards, including the Padma Shri in 2007. But none of this really prepared me for what I heard on the 1st of July 2008. I felt a lump in the left of my breast, on the left side of my breast, and I rushed to the mammogram on the same evening and gave the paper to my husband. I said, get the results, and I flew off to US for a conference. The results were malignant, and I had to meet the doctor right away. After I came out of surgery, I performed on stage with my hair all tied up because I couldn't put pins into it, and performed and came back home and washed my hair and saw it all go down the drain. So yes, that journey of the looks, it took a little while to adjust, to accept the fact that, hey, you've got a nice bald pate now. But I think laughing at it in its face and not being shy about it, not being embarrassed about it, I think all these finally helped me go through it.
My name is Ujjwala Raze. I am 44 years old. Cancer is not really new to me. In year 2000, my mother got detected with breast cancer. For my mother's case, we were actually, trying to retrieve her out of, because her morale was completely down, and we tried all those means. So we couldn't retrieve her out of it. In 2 chemos, she succumbed. So that had become a scar in my mind that probably in 6 to 8% of women, it is a familial history. So would I be also in that forte? So in year 2013, when I became 40, I went to my gynec and asked her to prescribe me a mammography. And so the journey began for me. And in the mammography, what happened, they were not actually very big symptoms, so to say, but they were just start of formation of a cancer. So there were 2 spots which were identified in mammography, and then my gynac guided me to a breast cancer surgeon, Dr. Sumit Shah, who resides just in Borivali. So that's how I met him, and he said that probably we will have to do a fine needle test to see whether it is a malignant or not malignant. And the fine needle test endorsed that it is a malignancy. Getting a right doctor is really a very important thing, I would say. So the whole treatment was properly guided, and I was well aware about what is going to happen to me during the whole course of action, because the doctors were upfront in telling me everything, and that's how very easy for me. During the whole course of action, my family, my husband and my daughter, they were the best supporters during the whole treatment. I remember those times when initially when it was detected, my daughter said to me that don't worry, nothing will happen to you. You will come out of it, and we are with you. And that 8.5 years kid of mine was actually an inspiration to come out of it. The biggest support is definitely a family and great help from the doctor. And I mentioned that my employer. Besides all of these people, there were a set of family friends. They were very closely observing my other part of the family, where my brothers and my sister-in-laws, they were also along with me, giving me a moral support. I think my mother was a guiding star in the whole thing. She wouldn't have got detected, probably I wouldn't have been also aware of it. So somewhere I was having the feel that my mom had gone through a very bad phase and we couldn't retrieve her. But whatever I had gone through as a part which is a very emotional part, that nobody wants to lose a mother, and same way I wanted my daughter should not be falling into that forte. So my daughter and my husband were the biggest and foremost thing for me at the end of the day.
That time the patient's psychology is totally different. She was going in a different phase. So daughter or son or the family should back up to patient.
And I remember a classic example of my chemotherapy time. The pricks used to really hurt. So my daughter used to tell me that you take my name and you will be fine. And that really built a strength in me. In year 2012, WHO had published a data that out of 1,44,000 cases detected in India, 70,218 women died of breast cancer. And that was a late detection, lack of awareness. This figure came on me like, maybe my mom's cases are more in India. So how do I help them? And that actually built this foundation of the Pink Initiative, which we are carrying ahead to counsel women, to tell them, to guide themselves and love themselves to look for these symptoms. See, I believe that if your mind does not know, your eyes cannot see. So if you are aware of those symptoms, you will really look for it. So I think women, if they are aware of the symptoms, they will definitely look around.
One early morning, my finger touched a lump in my breast, and I showed it to my husband and son. Immediately they took me to a doctor, and the lump was detected cancer. Now in this situation, my family and obviously my husband stood firmly by my side. After 2 or 3 chemotherapy, the side effects came. I lost my hair, I lost my appetite, I lost my confidence, and I lost every happiness of my life. I had to confined in a room. Nobody was allowed to enter the room. Anyhow, after the last chemotherapy, I was happy that I have completed my treatment. I was getting hope to survive, and at last I won the game, won the battle, and the cancer was defeated. My husband was always beside me. He was the only person who was always with me. When I was confined in the room, he was with me. He was my strength, and he did everything for me. He took the care of my medicine, took the care of my food, and he always tried to remove my loneliness. And he was everything to me.
Almost 60% women with breast cancer in India are diagnosed at an advanced stage because of issues of social stigma, lack of family support, and lack of awareness. But stories of these bold and courageous women hold out hope.